Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Last Friday, May 2nd, 2025, a selective high school exam in Sydney was abruptly cancelled after major chaos broke out at several test centers, so severe that real police had to step in. Photos from the scene show massive crowds of parents, the majority of whom were Chinese and Indian, and honestly, that's not surprising at all. If you've been following public school rankings in Australia, you will notice a fascinating pattern. Once Chinese and Indian immigrants began buying homes in a certain area, the academic performance of local public schools begins to climb rapidly. Those schools then attract even more Chinese and Indian families, reinforcing a cycle of academic excellence and pressure. Behind this seemingly positive loop lies a deeper truth, a fierce dedication from these two communities towards their children's education. Some might even call it an internationalized version of tiger parenting or educational arms race. So today, I want to talk about the Chinese tradition of intense academic parenting, how it started, why it persists, and how it's spreading globally. Let's first look at who these tiger parents are. Most of them are people born in the 1980s and 90s, our generation. But we were not just observers of this parenting trend. We lived through the earlier version of it. In our teenage years, we experienced the height of China's private tutoring boom. Back then, China was riding the wave of its post-reform economic miracle. Our parents, mostly born in the 1950s and 60s, shared a few defining traits. Many didn't receive a complete education due to political turmoil like the Cultural Revolution. Most had only a vocational or associate degree. They caught the early waves of economic opportunity, earning decent money from housing reform, small business, or state-run enterprise perks. And most importantly, they believed deeply in the idea that going to a top university could change your destiny. Because of all this, they placed immense importance on our education, but due to their limited academic background, they couldn't help much beyond middle school. So naturally, they started investing in tutoring. I'm a perfect example of this. Starting in middle school, I had tutoring in Chinese literacy, English, and physics. In high school, that expanded to math, physics, and more English. The government had only one main restriction back then. Teachers were not allowed to tutor their own students, but the workaround, teachers would recommend each other's students, creating a self-sustaining unspoken system. I once saw the most extreme case, a married couple, both elite high school math teachers, who hosted weekend classes right in their living room, from Friday evening through Sunday. They ran 5 sessions a day with 30 students in each session. The living room was packed, and they even installed closed-circuit TV and surround sound, so everyone could see the whiteboard. It was like a homegrown live stream classroom, way before live streaming became a thing. Most of us who went through this system did succeed. We got into universities, went abroad, and eventually secured permanent residency. So yes, the system worked. But if I'm being honest, it was exhausting. We had no weekends, always rushing from one tutoring session to the next. In some ways, it was more intense than regular school. So now that our generation has become parents, many of us are continuing the cycle, but with a modern twist that feels more emotionally acceptable. Back then, we were forced to attend extra classes under pressure to perform. Today's tiger parenting is often initiated by the parents themselves, sometimes out of love, sometimes out of fear. Today's parents, influenced by online marketing and educational trends, start scheduling all kinds of enrichment classes for their preschoolers: logic and reasoning, coding, phonics, music, art, you name it. And this lightweight tiger parenting has exploded post-COVID. Thanks to online platforms, all you need is an iPad to keep your child quiet for an hour while learning something. For busy white-collar parents, that's a solid deal. Add to the sports classes and music lessons. But let's be honest, a lot of this isn't really about a child. It's about giving parents some breathing room. In China, most working parents cannot manage child pickups and drop-offs on their own. They rely heavily on grandparents. On weekends, though, the parents step in. But even then, many of them are still working remotely or catching up on office tasks. So while the kid is in piano class or on the soccer field, the parents are catching up on emails. This is buying time with money, a very Chinese way of solving problems. Now, the big question: are these classes even effective? Personally, I have doubts. For young children, most of these courses are just a different form of play. Boosting intelligence or cultivating creativity sounds good on paper, but without active family engagement and support at home, these are just surface-level fixes. The problem is, this generation of Chinese parents grow up in consistent comparison and competition. And now that they are in the workforce, the inner pressure hasn't gone away. So of course, it spills into parenting. If someone else's kid is coding at 5, you panic. If someone else's kid speaks fluent English, you start looking for native speaking tutors. I had a friend who took her daughter to a primary school interview, only to realize all the other kids could speak fluent English. Her daughter had studied too, but clearly not enough. That moment hit her hard, and the anxiety kicked in fast. And once school officially starts, that anxiety only gets worse. Many parents publicly claim they don't pressure their kids. They believe in happy education. But privately, they are scheduling tutoring, extracurriculars, and test prep left and right. Some parents even start preparing for elite high school entrance exams when their child is in first grade, mapping out 5 or 10-year education plans. As one friend put it, mom groups are the most terrifying, competitive, and emotionally draining places in the world. If you have gone through something similar, or if you have a story to share, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.